Have you ever felt like your emotions are controlling you? Like frustration, anger, upset just keep bubbling to the surface? Hi, my name is Emily and welcome to my channel. What if I told you that there is a way to take control of these emotions? Well, let's get into it. By the end of this video, you will be able to know how to manage your emotions and you will feel more in control of how you act and react. I used to think that having emotions or showing emotions was a bad thing, and I always thought that when I was talking to somebody I had to try to remove those emotions or those feelings out of my conversation, and it was very tough for me because it was causing me to feel frustrated and stuck. Now I'm learning that our emotions are actually a part of us, and it's actually something I'm learning to embrace. And so it's just like learning that it's okay. They're not wrong. We all have emotions. We're humans. That's a necessary part of our life. And so I'm learning that I just need to be able to feel into my emotions and not suppress them or put them aside. Like if I have anger or sadness, I just need to figure out why am I feeling that, and how I can deal with it, and just sit and actually be present with those emotions and not suppress them. One story that I can think of that actually is a pattern for me, and it keeps coming up over and over again for me, so it's just something that I'm aware of now, and working through it. But one of them is so let's say I'm an electrical engineer, so when I send an email hey, my machine's down, I'm having this issue, or hey, I'm having this problem, what do I need to do to fix it, or this is what you guys asked me to do, I tried it. And then it's they'll come back at me with saying and not even read the email and be like, oh well, you didn't try this and this and this, or not even reading my email and reading what I actually wrote in the email, and then they come back with something that didn't even answer my question, or something that was it's our fault and we should have done something different. And it's a massive trigger for me, and I get extremely reactive, and just my anger gets completely elevated. I get really frustrated. Almost everyone knows it at work. And I'm just get so frustrated because I feel like I'm being either they're being condescending to me, or that they're talking down to me like I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm an electrical engineer, I work on these machines on a regular. This is something that's I've never seen, so I'm asking them for help, but it's the answers they give me back is what the heck? And so I find myself getting so elevated and reactive. And so I have to be very careful when I'm writing the email back. Sometimes I just want to slam them one, and sometimes I will write the email as if I'm gonna slam them, but then I realize that I'm triggered and I just need to give myself a break or walk away. And so then when I'm writing my email, I have to be okay, what is this actually gonna accomplish what I want or need from them? And if it's a no, then I take it out, even though inside of me wants to so badly prove them wrong, because I'm so angry that they treated me, or how I feel they treated me. And it's just something that I realize that I can easily get angered or frustrated with people, because it's I feel why do I have to prove myself to you that I'm knowledgeable enough in this subject or whatever, or this machine? And so it's it just drives me crazy, and I just find that it happens a lot, and it's been a pattern for me. So now I'm trying to work on why is it actually angering me? Is it something inside of me that from childhood, I always felt I had to prove myself, or I'm a female and I put myself, well, I'm a female in a man's world because I'm an electrical engineer. So then it's easy for me to get caught up in that and be well, they just don't believe that I'm good enough. And so then I'm also in I'm not good enough, so it's just all these emotions come up, and so I'm just working on dealing with them. But it's this is a prevalent thing in my life where I just don't like being talked down to, instead of just being okay, well, that's them, that's the way they perceived it, or they missed something, instead of beating them up over it. It's just, I have to put it in perspective. Maybe they have a lot going on, and so maybe they just missed it, or maybe they're just very, one-minded, so they're only gonna like take one line and answer instead of answering the whole email. So I mean, everyone's different, and I have to remember not everybody is like me where I'm like very detailed, but it's very easy for me to get angry and frustrated with others, and I'm like, it's just something I have to work on and realize that I have to figure out how to manage my emotions when around that. Emotions play such a huge role in our lives because emotions are, happy, sad, frustrated, angry, elated, excited, nervous, like all these emotions. And this is actually a part of all of our lives. So it's like we have to put it in perspective that everyone has these, and we all have different triggers that can cause us to be either angry or upset or happy or, joking. And it's just like, we just have to remember like why we're getting triggered and maybe understand that that's something that it's always going to happen. Someone's going to always trigger us. It's how we react back to it. That's the biggest thing. Here's some simple steps of how I manage my emotions. First thing is to recognize my emotions. So it's like when I get triggered, then I have to sit back and be like, okay, why did I get triggered? And just be aware of what's going on. And like, I know sometimes like if we're not aware, like the trigger can happen and you're like, oh, I snapped and I had no idea I was actually triggered because it happens so fast, because it's like your blood starts boiling and then it's like, oh, just an automatic reaction. I know that's for me, but sometimes I'm just, I'm in the like just phase of trying to just be super aware and observant of how I react to other people. Another thing is like emotional regulation. So means like for me, it's just to, when I'm aware of it, and I am triggered, then it's like if I am present to it, then I have to either take a few deep breaths, maybe like 10 of them, like big deep breaths, and like push all the air out, or I need to get up and walk away, or I need to tell the person like, hey, can we come back to this conversation? Or what else? It's like grounding techniques, or going outside to go take a walk, or walking in nature, meditation, just being completely like present to what's going on. And, just getting up, walking away, or going to go talk to somebody else if you need to vent really fast and be like, all right, how can I deal with this situation? I know that's not always the easiest because not everybody doesn't want to listen to everyone vent, but sometimes it's good to get it off your chest. But I also understand it's just like, it's learning how to regulate what works for you. Next for me is to like express emotions in a healthy manner. So that means like for me, what works for me would be something like journaling, where I can just like completely rip on the person if I really want to in the journaling, because I'm not actually saying it to them. And then sometimes like in me writing that, like I'll have a different perspective. But it's like just me getting everything out of my head onto paper, so that I'm no longer just stuck in like the spiral, just continuing going, well, they should have blah, 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 blah. Like they shouldn't do this and they shouldn't do that. And I'm just like in this nasty, mean cycle where I just want to, go after the person. So it's like also, painting. It could be something like painting, or for me, it's like singing or dancing, or it could be meditation, or it could be just anything that it helps you get out of your head. And so it's a healthy way to release, that stress or that frustration. Also, another thing would be, it could be something like, wanting to talk to somebody about it. So, this could look anything like, for me, like sometimes if I'm triggered at work, I'll walk into my boss's office and I'll complain a little bit about it, but I know that he's going to come back and be like, all right, what are you learning about this? Or what do you think you need to do? Instead of like, just like going, oh, I don't want to hear this. But sometimes it's good for me to get it off my chest, because sometimes I'm not even realizing what actions to take around it, because I'm so stuck in my frustration and bubble, or my anger bubble. And sometimes it's just talking to somebody, and then you'll almost sometimes realize what to do in the moment to go deal with someone, or have a conversation with somebody, if you did snap or something, or if you didn't but you want to, and it's just having a conversation with somebody, to get it out of your head. And it's also just like, it could be like seeking out a community to, or a therapist or a coach or someone who, talks to people on a regular basis or communicates with people on a regular basis, and they know how to like have conversations with people of like what they're dealing with or what somebody else is dealing with. Another one would be like a mindful practices. So this is just, not thinking about the past, not thinking about the future. It's just like being in the present moment, just being still. Like most of the times that this helps is like meditation or really good deep breathing, just to center yourself, because it's like you just need to be mindful of what's going on in the present moment and not be thinking about anything else. So you can actually turn emotions into a strength. So what I mean by this is, for me, let's say for me, so if somebody triggers me, then I have an opportunity to look at it like, why am I being triggered? Or what do I need to work on in myself that, caused me to be so upset about this? And so most of the time it's like an inner child, trauma, fear, wound, whatever. And it's just like something that I just have to acknowledge and be like, all right, how can I, soothe my inner child so that like this doesn't keep coming up, or get to a place where I'm not so reactive. And like, this is not easy. It's just like an everyday thing, but it's also like just being aware that we're all human and that like we're all just trying our best. And some of us aren't aware of it and some of us are. But the more we're aware of things and the more we're able to manage our emotions, it's almost like you could be totally unstoppable, or you'll find yourself not being triggered, or just being able to reduce your anger and frustration really fast, instead of it trailing on for, I don't know, hours, days, weeks, whatever, or forever. And so sometimes like this is what happens with family members, where you get super mad at each other, but then no one decides to, apologize and be like, all right, maybe I overreacted or something, or can we agree to disagree kind of thing. I know this is not easy because, it's normally the people we are surrounded by that trigger us the most. So the next time you are caught in an emotional storm, remember you have the power to create the calm in your life. You are powerful. You can do this. You can create that calm, and you can just live a beautiful life. Let me know in the comments below like what emotions you've been dealing with, or which ones you've been working on, or which ones are triggering you a lot, or what situations trigger you. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more information. And remember, we're all in this together.